Hi guys, I'm the alkaline witch Shani, and I'm here to talk a little bit about what I like to call alchemical foods, or foods that are good for the alchemy of body, soul, and mind. When I do my retreats and we cook alkaline, of course, we love bread, we love cakes, we love all the good baked stuff. And there's something I don't think I will ever stop eating because it is a comfort type of food that feeds the soul. But bread is not very healthy. Most bread and most cakes, definitely not healthy. And food is either the medicine or the disease. So today I'm going to talk about spelt flour. Of course, in the alkaline list approved by Dr. Sebi, we have other flours we can use. Some are grain flours, some are not, like coconut flour, walnut flour. They're no grain, but spelt is a bit of a funny one because some people really love it. Some people don't take anything with any level of gluten in it. Let's just say it. Spelt does have gluten in it, and for the most part, the alkaline diet is completely gluten-free, grain-free, starch-free, we like to call. So why is spelt different? Why Dr. Sebi really talks so good about spelt flour. Spelt flour is a very old grain. It's over thousands of years old. I have some websites say 10,000, some websites I would say 4,000. But anyway, it's a very old grain that hasn't been hybridized or genetically modified as much as other type of plants that we have, because it's not so demanded and because it's not so, like white flour. We want white flour because we want our cakes and bread to look nice and white. So we break the grains and we take what is called the whole whole bread. Is having the what we call salvado in Spanish, which is the good part, the fiber parts of the flour. Otherwise, you're just left with starch. That's it. Starch is really sticky and sticks in your body and generates a lot of mucus in your body. Spelt and wheat are, when you eat in whole, it preserves the fiber in it, which helps you get rid and clean all that stuff, the other stuff. Don't forget that in alchemy, alchemy is the process of turning a gross matter and turning it into vital energy. That is alchemy all across the board. And that's what your body is doing with food, is taking gross matter and turning it into vital energy for you to move and live your life and do all the functions you have to do. So it's an alchemical process, like you would call magical process, in which your body takes something, poisonous, basically, and it turns it into something that really is vital energy. So how we help the body do that? What kind of foods we eat that help the body do that process much easier? Spelt is one of this, and the fiber in spelt can really help us cleanse the body. But like I said, it does have a gluten level. Those that are celiac, they're allergic to any type of gluten, so it's not good. But for all of the rest of us, there are no celiac. We can still eat spelt, even though the glycemic index is 55 out of 67, and it does have a level of insulin rush, or sugar level goes up when you eat it. It's nowhere near as close as wheat or corn or other flours that have lots high levels of glycemic index in it. So what are other things about spelt? Spelt is alkaline. The level of pH is 7.5. Above 7 is alkaline. So it's really good, helping keep the body the desired pH, because it's very high in phosphorus, not like other flours. And that makes it way more alkaline, way more helpful to keep the pH level that we need to keep, right? It's anti-inflammatory. Unlike other flours, which are inflammatory, very anti-inflammatory because of the high level of magnesium and manganese, and that's what we really need for our bones. No calcium, magnesium, we know that now. So spelt can really contribute to the density of your bones and also maintain the joints and All of those parts that become inflamed with time, with age, with also eating an acidic diet. Spelt can really help reduce that. You know, I test a lot what I eat all the time, especially with the inflammatory, anti-inflammatory symptoms in the body are the ones that we can test the most. We can easily do that. We can test a food and check if it has inflamed or no. For me, the way that I check that is with my rings. If my fingers are inflamed, that means I can take them off. So that means that food is inflammatory, no? And I Spelt all the time. I never get that. Another thing I test with flowers, if it's give me a heartburn, if I feel it here. And Spelt never gives me heartburn, no matter how much I eat. So that's another indication for me that Spelt is actually not doing any damage to my body, but rather helping. And also, it's a very good choice for IBS, because you can tolerate Spelt. A lot of people with IBS can tolerate any flower, but they can tolerate Spelt. So that's another indication that it's a different type of food altogether. Like I said, Dr. Sebi really recommends Spelt flower. He said he eats lots of it. And then on the more spiritual side of things, one thing that really got my attention once when I was looking at Spelt products to buy was I was searching online on Google, Spelt pasta, Spelt this and Spelt that, and I came across this monastery in Germany who follows the teachings of a woman called Hildegard. She's a saint, and by all means, I can tell you she was a witch, a very smart witch who healed people, but who was also a saint. And her life is so interesting. I mean, you should really read a book about her, empower women, you know, witches doing the work of medicine women in ways that are hard to explain. This is the year 1000. This is over 1,000 years ago. So, you know, this kind of knowledge can only come for a divine higher plane. But I like to read what it's in Spanish, so I'm going to be translating. But the book is called Física, Book of the Simple Medicines. It was written by this woman, and it enlists every kind of food and crystal and what you can use it for, or what heals. So chapter 5, Spelt, Triticum Spelta is called. It says Spelt is the best cereal of warm nature, rich and full of force, and sweeter than other cereals. It gives to whoever eats it flesh, right? It gives you density, like body and blood in the right way, in the right amount. A young spirit, and it puts joy in your temperament or in your mind. What else? In any way you eat it, whether that be bread or other meals, is good and tasty. If somebody is sick and its illness doesn't allow him to eat, he should have grains of Spelt cooked in hot water. Put a little bit of grease in it, or the yolk of one egg to have better taste. Year 1000, guys. And eat it. It will heal you from within, like a good and healthy balm, no, like a balm that we put on the skin, but from within. And it's not like she's writing good stuff about everything. Like, you can read this book and you'll see that she doesn't like wheat. I mean, she says, let's see if I find what she says about wheat. She doesn't have good things to say about wheat or other type of ingredients. So I was really taken aback by you know, how much she, you know, and this monastery is all based on Spelt flower. Like, you know, it's not the only grain she talks about, but that's what took me aback. I read the label and is there something like, we follow the instructions of Hildegard and the spelt grain, who is thousands of years old, which is thousands of years old. Oh, who knows? Yeah, no, spelt. It's an entity, and they really follow that, and they really believe that. And like I said, everything with alchemy is self-experimentation. Nothing coming from outside is true. All the knowledge, the true knowledge and wisdom comes from within. So the only way to really know what a food does to you is to try it. But in order to really feel the effects of the food, you have to truly cleanse your body and connect with it. If you're not in communication with your body, if it's not cleansed enough, then you don't know what kind of pathogen is acting on it. You don't know if it's the spelt, you don't know if it's the Coca-Cola, you don't know if it's the tobacco, you don't know if it's the, negative energy that you're receiving from people or from yourself. You have to be able to share all the layers. So then when you try something, you really know exactly in yourself what effect it's having in your body, and if it's good or if it's bad. When I go to retreats, I come across people all the time who say, oh, spelt is bad, it has gluten. And I'm like, and maybe I myself, at a time, I had a judgment like that, like gluten is bad, no gluten, we can't eat gluten, cut it off. But then when you have a part of you that keeps calling for it, like, I want this bread, I want to eat this. And then you eat it, and you read these things as well. You share with other people that have similar insights, and it's fine. Then you eat it, and you know that it's not so cut and dry things as they say. Although I follow this strict list of ingredients, because each ingredient on that list has given me this feeling of alchemy in my body. It has given me this, and that's what sometimes I don't judge whether they need to be black or white, gluten, no gluten, but I rather judge, why will Dr. Sebi say yes to this? Why will he accept this ingredient and not this one? I can read what he says, but surely there's an internal process he did to understand this. So I better just spend time with the product or with the food and see what effect it has on me, and see if I can arrive to the same conclusion or not, which happens sometimes. So yeah, that's the spelt. Like I said, it's something that people always ask for, and we discuss a lot about the flowers. So I thought I'd give you an idea why it's on the list. Remember the modified foods, GMO foods. If you ever been to, my father is a farmer, and most of his life he grew corn, wheat, soy, all of them, all of the bodies. And I got to grow up seeing these plants grow, and I got to experience the change in food firsthand. This is what I'm an advocate for healthy living, for permaculture, for things like that. And the thing with the most consumed grains, as wheat and corn, and something that hasn't happened to spelts, is that they've been so heavily modified in order to grow faster, grow bigger, and for insects not to want it. So imagine that. Imagine food the insects don't want. Why they don't want it? Why should I want it? What is it doing to me? Why is an insect repellent in the food now? Is that really good for us? It's not. So the good thing about spelt is because it hasn't been as popular. Maybe that's the reason, or because it's a more, let's just go for the more spiritual take on it, is protected. The energy of spelt flower is protected. It hasn't been modified in the same way. It hasn't been touched in the same way. That's what's more expensive. That's what's harder to find. But it applies to that principle that, because there was no interest in it for so long, is now one of the most pure grains we can find. That being said, always make sure it's organic, of ecological, farming. I'm sure there is a lot of sprayed spelt flower and stuff like that. But what I mean is the life force within the seed is still in it. And that's why most acidic food, but most food don't have the life force within. And that's why we have to make that distinction between plant-based diet and vegan diet. Vegan food don't have life force in it. processed food don't have life force in it. It's not. It's not alive. So yeah, that's Spelt flour. Hope it helped. If you have any comments, questions, or you want to know anything more about this or any other alkaline products or recipes, please leave it down there. And if you want other people to find it, share it. Sharing is caring, especially when it comes to our health, our bodies and minds. Okay, guys, I hope that was a little insightful on why we eat Spelt flour, why it's on Dr. Sebi's list, why it's on the alkaline list, and how you can eat it. You can make everything with Spelt. Everything you can make with regular flour, you can make with Spelt. It just won't look perfectly pristine and white. It will look rustic. But hey, that's we have to get used to food. Food is not an art. Food, is energy. So go back to the more natural way of eating things. White flour has so many pesticides. It has no vital force in it. It has the wholeness has been taken away. That's another thing we can use to understand the alchemy of food and the symbols of food is the names we use for them. Whole food. What is the counterpart of whole food? Broken food, empty foods. I don't know. Separated food. Definitely whole speaks to the oneness of food. It speaks to the God force in it, like the divine molecule, as Dr. Sebi liked to call it. The presence of the ether in food is very important. And processed machine-made food don't have the life force in it. Now, everything is divine energy. Of course it is. Of course it is. But we have to talk about gross matter against subtle matter. We want subtle energy. We want to become lighter. We don't want to get heavier, denser, grosser. And for that, food is not the only one, but one of the most important parts of your spiritual path, of your developing path. And I'm not even talking about becoming a monk or becoming nothing, just becoming at peace with yourself, just becoming some sort of center inside, a peace where a platform where to stand and to feel like you're okay, you're safe. The only thing that can give you that is a healthy body, a healthy mind. And for that, you have to watch everything that makes it through this bubble. Everything. Food, energy, drinks, music, sounds, everything. I went off topic again. So sorry, guys. I'll see you next time and hope that was helpful. Bye.